As further research that takes information from the Occupational Standards for Early Childhood Educator, an analysis of potential training gaps or education gaps was completed. The goals of the training gap analysis were to discuss potential training or education gaps with ECE professional education programs and resources, to prioritize those training and education gaps, and to identify ways in which those training gaps and education gaps might be addressed. To meet these goals, consultation sessions were held with ECE practitioners as well as people responsible for post-secondary programs in early childhood education, provincial and territorial decision makers, and other industry stakeholders to review and validate the findings of the analysis and to address potential training and education gaps. And it was through those consultations that some ideas on how those gaps could be addressed were strategized and prioritized, and to brainstorm practical ways in which they could be addressed. To gather information about the training gaps and education gaps within the sector, we held consultation sessions with frontline ECE workers. We also compared the original practitioner standards that were developed in 2003 with the updated version of the standards that were completed in 2010. We did a broad literature review of national and international research that dealt with potential training gaps in the early childhood education sector. An online survey was also held with over 100 program faculty in ECE education programs across the country to see how training gaps could be covered and addressed, and we also held 8 consultations with faculty to help us identify 5 key priority areas to address the training and education gaps. From preliminary discussions with frontline ECEs and ECE program faculty advisors, 6 main areas were identified. These areas included working with children with special needs, infant care, school-age care, communication and relationship building skills, diversity training, and mentorship. Frontline ECEs also identified a number of other areas that could be potential training gaps, including areas that are covered in the revised occupational standards. These areas are observation techniques, multiple intelligences and different learning styles, holistic child development, child health and wellness, self-reflection, emotional needs of children, and advocacy.